Okay, we are recording. Check, check.
Testing. There was when I was at school, there was a child who, whenever we got anywhere near a microphone, would run up to it and he would say, testes, I have three.
Do you remember the guy that used to work at the Astoria as a sound guy that did that same joke?
Now, for the longest time, I was semi-convinced it was the same person.
It was. Oh, as in the one that was at your school.
Yeah, because it's not beyond like the wit of possibility that it would be the same person.
I mean, who knows? Anyway, hello.
Hello. Shall we do the Emo Dad intro music? So we're time traveling again, aren't we?
Yeah, so we. If you're listening to episodes in order, then you've probably listened to pre-season training, but we haven't actually done it yet.
Right. We haven't recorded it, but we know that this is not going to be out before that.
Yeah, because we always start with pre-season training
Correct, which hasn't happened yet because it's not pre-season. But we're doing like an exhibition match.
in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Well, Singapore would be more appropriate for the
Yes,
band
it would be.
we're about to meet in 10 Earth minutes.
We hope.
Nah, they're pros, man. They're pros. This is you get a whiff when you're behind the curtain of Emo Dad interviews. You get a whiff whilst you're doing early communication with a band if they're going to pitch up or not. And given that this is one of the ones that approached us, which doesn't happen very as often as it should.
Don't tell the listeners that. We're
It
like
doesn't
batting
happen as often
away
as it should.
offers.
We are. We are left, right, center. If you have a band and you would like to be on the Emo Dad podcast, in fact, if you're adjacent to a band, if you met a band
If you know a
once
band.
in 2003, there's a chance we might talk to you. You can drop us a message on Instagram or email the dusty email account, emodadpodcast@gmail.com. That's what you can do. And we'll see if we want to have a chat.
And that's what these people did.
And so we're having a chat.
And here we are.
So they'll know, like I don't know why we're skirting around the name of the band.
Oh, because it'd be in the title of the episode.
Yeah, like everybody will know we're about to talk to the Click Five. Like it's a thing. It'll, it'll be, it's not like it's going to be a surprise.
Well, we could have put mystery guest.
Yeah, but that's not how SEO works. Search engine optimization,
I really
not
fancy
good.
I really fancy listening to a music podcast with a mystery guest today.
Right. Which can easily be solved by scrolling 15 minutes in.
Yes, we are going to chat to the Click Five. What? Three
Three,
fifths.
we're going to click three of the five. We're
Three
going
of
to
the
click,
five.
we're getting that out of our system now,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
wise.
So if this is the first time listening to the Emo Dad podcast, which again is fairly possible because a lot of people come to us for the first time when we're a band we're a band, when we interview a band who, might be outside of our normal audience. Hello.
And good luck.
Yeah, good luck. I feel like we can introduce ourselves a little bit. My name is James. Of the two of us, I'm more unhinged. That's that's I think how I'd like to describe myself at the moment. And the boss of the Emo Dad podcast is
What?
virtually sitting opposite me.
Am I the boss?
Think, come on.
Yep, I'm Matt, and I've got a new mic arm. It's my
That's exciting. Would
my
you like
news.
to describe to the listeners, well, or maybe if you want, visually demonstrate? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Emo Dad is now a visual medium, appearing on all streaming channels. It's not demonstrating it, I'm not gonna lie. You're just
I'm
moving the
moving
mic
and talking,
stand.
moving
Yeah,
and
but it's
talking.
you can't see the stand. All you can see is a
Uh,
floating
look,
microphone.
I'm over here. I'm over here.
Yeah, it's not
I'm gone.
great for an audio
This is
and
good.
visual medium.
Oh
It's not
shit,
great content.
we just lost all the people that were here
All the
for the
new
interview.
people. So
That didn't last long, did it?
no, no. Or I mean,
And this is what you can expect from the Emo
this
Dad
is
podcast.
yeah, absolutely, especially for interviews because we get on right because we're all like because we're a little bit excited about what's about to happen. We're all giddy because we've got some company in the Emo Dad hovel. Um, I
We
haven't
we
spoken much today.
we
My
come
voice
on
is a
early.
mess.
We come on early to so that we're ready, and then we have
Right,
this awkward. We don't really want to like go into any like cool or funny stories or anything in case they
right.
appear, and we have to. So we just kind of play with mic stands.
Yeah, and like muck about for 10 minutes. Like,
Um,
were you familiar with the Click 5 before they dropped into our inbox,
is
slid into our DMs, as it were?
is that good chat to have?
Um, it's a question I had, but we don't have to answer it.
I wasn't
I
overly
was
familiar. I'll be honest.
I was looking up their set list. Do you do that? Because I like to learn what band is like currently into. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So I'm
No.
familiar with that. No, you don't do this. So I'm familiar with their songs, like what songs they're playing on right now.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
And I think it's a habit I picked up when this used to be a radio show.
Yep.
Because when Spotify let us play whole songs, we like get them to choose songs and we play them.
Yep.
And then sometimes the guest would go, oh, I don't know, choose one of your favorites. And I'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah. I always had all the songs in front of me as well.
Because I couldn't be like, well, it's track three on the record with the panda on the cover. Like,
I
like
mean,
you've got to be more
even like my
prepared than that.
favorite, even my favorite people. If they put me on the spot, I'm still like, literally can't think of a single song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because as I was listening, so I was re-listening of with to the Click Fives oeuvre, trying to find like a good sound. We can hear that,
Can
so
you hear
that's
that?
good. Oh yeah, just letting you know, new mic stand is allowing for can opening sound effects.
Emo Dad podcast sponsored by Bud Light. It's not
Yeah,
really. It's not really
yeah.
Bud Light, but
No, I'm just trying to make sure I'm gonna say the right song. But it's not playing on my system, so that's
what are
clearly a thing that doesn't work.
what are you waffling on about?
Basically, I was just going to say that the song that I remembered and I remembered that I liked, they don't play it.
Question one.
So that one got a line drawn through that question.
Oh,
So I'm just putting that out there in case that comes up, and I'm not sure if it's track 5 or 6 on Modern Minds and Pastimes US version.
I was listening to the German version.
Right. Which includes 99 Red Balloons cover
Yep.
and other German songs.
David Hasselhoff cover.
Right, right. Generally other Germans. We've deleted a question about outfits, which I'm upset about. So
It
I'm
might
not
still come back in.
I'm trying not to go rogue tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying not to go rogue, but it's really difficult because That's what I do.
But we do have questions about lunchboxes, playing at Cambodian temples, Myspace,
Yeah,
and a a movie that was made about this band.
yeah. And Alvin and the Chipmunks. So we're just pointing out that there is that if those got in, right, just imagine what got rejected.
Yeah, yeah. Looking at the quote, I'm like, James, we can't ask that. It's like, okay,
Can't
but we
ask that.
can ask
Can't ask
about
that.
lunchboxes.
I proposed a section about an hour ago that isn't going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just letting you know what you could have won.
Oh, did you propose this
Where
to me?
Yeah, I did on our chat a minute ago, where I read out
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
IMDb
yeah.
comments on this movie.
Maybe we'll do that after the interview.
No, I can't. We've got to end pretty quick. I've got another date, so we can't.
Oh,
My
oh,
daughter wants to chat to me, so we've got to be on time tonight. Just letting you all know, letting
okay,
you preparing that, so there won't be quite as much nonsense afterwards as there normally is.
okay. So,
Um,
so what time do you need to go today?
8:15 is my knockoff time,
Okay,
which is pushing it, which is pushing it. But ladies and gentlemen, you won't know what that means
that's irrelevant to them, and
because
they, to be honest, they couldn't give a shit.
no, they couldn't give a shit. They couldn't give a shit. Time for them is a construct.
We have people in the green room, bang on 7 o'clock.
I told you they would be professional.
Shall I let them in?
Yeah, of course.
I'll just leave them there
No,
for a
just
bit.
leave them there. Just leave them there.
And then we wait, and the impending audio fun and games start.
Nah, I don't think we've got anything to worry about tonight.
Haha.
Yes.
Hey, hey,
Oh, hello.
what's going on?
Yeah, we're good. How are you?
I'm good, good. What's going on, y'all? Emo Dad in the house.
Yeah, man. You have a
We
great looking room that you're in.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It's my favorite place on the planet.
Yeah, because I have ADHD, I am massively monkey say, monkey do. So if I
Yeah.
see something, I've got to talk about it. Tell me all about your couch. It looks incredible.
It's so funny you mentioned that because I literally just had a guy here. I'm gonna have it cleaned in the next couple days. So I've been like couch focused about that couch right there. It's one of the first things I bought when I moved to Los Angeles, and I kind of lucked out. I have this like crazy thing with Facebook Marketplace. I'm like a
Okay.
Facebook
Haha,
wizard,
yes.
and I really go for great deals on there. And I found this guy that was just selling like his whole world in his apartment, um, and it seemed like he had a bunch of money, and he was just like offloading a ton of stuff. So I went there just for the couch actually, and I ended up getting like 4 or 5 lamps and a rug and like all this stuff, and it was like perfect for me. I had just moved here with literally nothing, no belongings. I moved from New York and sold everything I owned there, and so it's one of those cool like I'm in the right place, found a bunch of great stuff like within days of being there, and that thing is still with me. I've been here about five years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if you were looking for that much detail on the couch, but you got it.
Yes. No, that was exactly what I was looking for. Full marks. 10 out of 10. That's just what I needed.
Nice. Got you, man. Got you.
And we've gotten Ethan. Welcome, Ethan.
Hello.
What's up,
Hey, how
dude?
you doing?
Good. How are you?
We are good. We
We're
are
really
good.
well. I want to ask another question about things in Kyle's room, Matt, or can I wait?
No, you
Can I
can
wait?
carry
Do
on.
I have
I'll
to
let
ask another question?
you
What
carry
you
on.
got?
Because I've got nothing on Ethan. I've got nothing I can ask a question about that I can see.
He's got some cool stuff in that room too. If the camera's down, he's got some cool stuff going on.
Ah,
There's a
Ah, there
bunch.
we
There
go.
we go.
Some things.
there it is. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Are you
goodness
counting?
me.
Yo, Joe.
So here's a specific question. Do you have, because this is something I struggle personally, you can't see, but over there, it looks the same as what I've just seen. It's the same. There are guitars and there's stuff.
Nice.
Do you have to have a specific strap for a specific guitar, or do you adjust for the guitar? Do you have a strap you like, and do you adjust given the guitar?
That's a great question. I'll go first. I have
Okay.
one specifically for like this little rubber bridge acoustic that just has this very
Okay.
specific like rubber feel to it that fits. It's an old guitar from the '60s, and it just feels right to be soft and plush. And then
Okay.
when we play live, we all wear these like specific kind of rhinestone straps. So that's
Yes.
that's like when we go and like put on the Superman suit and like go play a show, it's that's those.
Joe's got
Oh, it
one.
is.
They're always at the ready. Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I think I tend these days to keep the strap with the guitar and
Ah,
have kind of specific ones for specific guitars, I guess.
that's the dream. As I
Yeah.
would love to be that organized. That's the that's the absolute dream. And
I'm-
welcome,
Just take
Joe.
some,
Joe, thanks for joining us.
Oh,
How's
sorry.
it going?
We're good. We're good. Thanks for all of you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Glad to be here.
So let's do a quick admin. How long have you guys got first of all?
All day, man.
All
Let's,
day.
let's get in here. Let's get in there.
Hours and hours.
Okay.
Yeah, no rush for me.
Okay.
You know,
Cool.
whatever works for you guys.
Cool. So first of all, welcome. Would you be able to just introduce yourselves, what you do in the band, so that the listeners can then put a voice to a name? I think that would be useful. So I don't know who wants to go first.
Well, I'll go first. My name is Kyle, and I sing and play rhythm guitar in the Click Five.
My name is Joe, and I play lead guitar and sing background vocals.
And my name's Ethan, and I play bass and sing background vocals.
Nice. Isn't it awkward on a Zoom because there's no like way of knowing or kind
Yeah.
of telling each other like you speak first and you
Yeah.
like and everyone's in like a different order on their screens, and so like James always gives me an eye or a point, but he might be pointing the wrong way, and I don't know if he's pointing at Kyle or pointing at me, or it's all the fun and games of doing this stuff.
Have you guys seen that thing with Usher on Jimmy Fallon where they're singing like a Queen song, and they do these like it's like this on Zoom where it was during the pandemic where they had a bunch of videos of like a bunch of famous singers,
Right.
and he was doing this like looking around thing, and there's like it's been memed so many times of people being like, who told Usher he was going to be in the center? Because he's like looking at all directions, but he's in like the bottom corner. So he like looks off screen and like off screen down there. It's like, why does he think he was going to be in the middle?
I mean, I guess he always thinks he's in the middle, right?
Usher, man. Usher, baby.
You're Usher.
Right, so first question for each of you guys. We always like to know, what was your earliest memory of music? Carl, do you want to go first?
Sure. My earliest memory of music was my parents brought me a guitar from a trip they took to Mexico, and they got like a really nothing special, cheap, like, you know, very small scale. I think I was 6-ish years old, and they got me this like, you know, size fitting classical guitar for a 6-year-old. And I like would not put that thing down. I like carried it around, dragging it behind me like Linus's blanket, like everywhere I went. And that was kind of like the rest is history. Like I had never stopped since then. I started guitar lessons right then, around 7 years old, and yeah, it's been a entire, you know, full life of music since then. So that's I think about that guitar started a lot of things, and it's sitting. I don't have it here. It's sitting in my dad's office in Georgia.
Cool.
I was just there and saw it, and I was like, oh, there's that thing. I thought it was gone actually, but it's there.
Oh, that's nice. It was a good investment by your parents to buy that. Then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How about you, Joe?
Similar. I think I got a guitar when I was like 2 or 3 years old for Christmas, and I think it broke in like 2 or 3 days. Like,
Yeah.
did not. And then let's see,
Too hard.
it was probably like another 10 years before I got my next guitar. So,
Another 10 years?
well, I was like 3 years old, so like didn't. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it would have been like probably about 10 years or so before I got.
Wow.
Your
crazy.
parents didn't trust you with another one after you
No.
broke it so quick.
Smashed
How about you, Ethan?
I feel like my first memory of music at all, like before playing music, was I got a tape recorder when I was maybe 4, maybe 5, and my dad had a big record collection, and so I would have him tape songs that I liked, and I do remember that it was pretty random stuff, like I had this tape with like Luther Vandross' "Stop to Love" on it.
Hell yeah, dude.
That I loved when I was 5 years old.
That explains a lot, dude.
Yeah, right. But like my dad was also like a huge Beatles fan and had a big collection of their stuff, and so like I definitely remember being very young, and like my favorite song was Yellow Submarine, because of course that's the one that appeals to you when you're that age.
Sure.
But I also have a similar story to these guys where I got it wasn't a real guitar, it was a toy guitar, but it had like nylon strings on it, but the guitar was like made out of plastic, and I think my grandfather gave it to me, and I wouldn't put it down, even though like it didn't really play. I mean, you could make sound from it, but like you could try to like tune it, and it never quite tuned up. So I was into that for like a number of years until I actually got serious about playing music, which was like I think around age 8 or 9, and I started playing the trombone and then piano, and then got a real guitar, and so yeah.
Oh, is that is he handing over?
Yeah, I was doing the
Can't, you've got to do a big. You guys might think we've never done this before. We've been doing this. We've been doing this for 6 years nearly now, and there's still there's no handover. We've not
We
got
need a sign.
We need like a printed sign that says "Your turn" or something. It needs to go up. Good. My section now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So we know Ethan and Joe. You guys would have met first, correct? How
Yeah.
did you two meet?
We were, well, Ethan, we became like best friends like overnight. I feel like we met at Berkeley College of Music in Boston, and Ethan came up to try out for a band, right? Because Ethan, you were back in Pennsylvania for a bit.
Yeah, I had like a false start at Berkeley. I went for a semester, and then I moved back home, and then I came back to join this band that Joe was in, that I had seen when I was at Berkeley, and I was like, oh wow, those guys are actually pretty good. So,
Do you remember the name of the band?
at the time it was called the Jesse Terry Band, but then the name changed to Oscar Bravo.
Nice.
Great.
Nice.
Ska band? I'm feeling ska band.
No,
Yeah, that's
no,
got-
it was like Americana. It was like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and like Bruce Springsteen, E
Nice.
Street Band, like very like of the 70s, I think, true songwriting, like songwriting kind of thing, and like electric guitar, bass, drums, and like Hammond organ and piano kind of thing. So
And
Nice.
Ethan played 4-string bass, which is the kind of bass that you should play. But at Berkeley, all these kids would have like 5, 6, 7-string bass guitars, and like Ethan was kind of this legendary character that was like, oh, he actually plays a real bass, 4-string.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a big selling point on Ethan, that he did not play a 5-string bass.
So and let's just qualify this for our listeners. So Berklee's a school of music, but it's like for like high. My understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a high performance proper music school where it's like the geniuses of the geniuses come to do incredible music. That's the impression we have this side of the pond, and there's multiple of them, right? There's like California, and they're all over the place. Or have I got that wrong? No, there's only one.
No. Okay. So
There's only one.
Yeah. So that's UC Berkeley, spelled differently, which is
you've got to do better. If it's
which is
different,
like
it's got to have a different name.
yeah, they should have had a different name.
Okay.
No, Berklee College of Music is just in Boston. They might have some satellite campuses now, but when we were there, I think it was only Boston, and I wouldn't say geniuses. I think it was people who were serious about music for the most part, but like they also have a very low graduation rate. You know, it was like 40% or something of people that would finish. But part of that was because of opportunities that would come along, and we'll probably get to this in our story. Like, you know, if an opportunity comes along that is the reason you went to school to try to have that opportunity, then like you might leave school before finishing to do that. But then there are the people that get there and realize that they're in over their head and drop out and that kind of thing. So, but I wouldn't say it's geniuses. I just think it's people who are into music, and like, you know, you can kind of find other people there. The best thing, in my opinion, about Berklee was just the networking possibilities of finding people that loved music as much as you did. Because if you went to like, you know, a normal high school in America, you probably had a couple of friends who were into music, but like, I know that I was the one that like wanted to like be in a band and do music more than any of my friends did, you know. Like I was in bands in high school and stuff, but they were just, you know, they were more interested in just like whatever else was in their path. So
girls. Yeah, sure.
No, we were interested. We were pretty serious about girls too.
Nice. And then Carl, you also went to Berklee, but was it the same? But it was later.
It was later, and I will say that I'm definitely a genius, so that's why I was there. I qualify for that name, that title. Nice. Yes, I went there as well, but I was like 5 or 6 years later, I think, than these guys, and that's how we came to meet. Because when they were looking for a new singer, their manager spoke to a good friend of his who was the head of the music business wing of Berklee, and a girl that I was friends with worked for that music business head. Like she was like worked as a student, you know, one of the students that works in the office, and he started asking around like, hey, this band is looking for a singer, does anyone know anyone? And she put my name in because we were friendly, and she knew the music that I was making. I was in a band, of course, and my name got put in. Yeah.
What was the name of your band?
My band was called Hillside Manor.
That's too proper.
Yeah,
that's too good. That's too realistic. When we're doing first band names around here, no, we want to hear something. You know,
No. Wait. That's not first band name. First band name was Focus with a K.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now we're talking.
That's what I'm talking about. Mine was Circle with an S. Circle with an S. That was mine.
That's what I'm talking about. That's heavy, dude. Was it like Prague?
And no, Britpop. So
okay.
So yeah, because it was like Oasis. Like first, that was 1983, 4. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because I feel like if you're doing like Ethan and Joe, I feel like when you're doing kind of Americana Tom Petty, was that wasn't the fashion though at this time? Would it have been? No, because I feel like it would have been more new metal-tastic. No, around the time that you'd have been in college, or have I got my years wrong?
Yeah, it would have. I mean, I guess it definitely wasn't fashionable. No,
okay.
To answer your question, and I don't think we cared about that. I mean, we were like, I guess, first of all, I don't think I was to the point yet where I was thinking about like what was going to happen after being out of college, but also there were like these indie bands that were, like kind of in that world, or at least tangential to it. And I guess like, things like Ryan Adams was happening.
Right.
And
Wilco.
Wilco was happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was that kind of thing. And I think we probably imagined that we were somewhere in that, world. The Wallflowers would be another like example of something that was kind of there.
Interesting.
But we were also interested in pop music,
Mm-hmm.
I think just more of the kind of pop music that like had real instruments more so than just like everything being programmed and with synthesizers and stuff.
And
Which I've
Britpop.
since gotten into all that kind of stuff anyway, but yeah.
We were all big Britpop fans.
And that.
Like Oasis, Travis.
Right,
Verve.
that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. And then when you did kind of get that, because I guess things must have moved fairly quickly for you when you signed with. I don't have his. Why have we've deleted the question with his name in. That's good. That's another very professional move from
Wayne
us
Sharp.
tonight.
Is it Wayne Sharp?
Thanks,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. When you signed with Wayne, did things move pretty fast? And was that the kind of direction you were assuming you were going to go down?
I think we liked guitar music that was catchy, that had catchy choruses. Like I think anything in that world was something we were interested in. Like we really liked catchy music, wouldn't you say that, Ethan? Like we liked choruses.
Yeah, definitely.
We liked like that was like a point of like how good you were is like how good the songs were, I think was
Yeah.
something we were after.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I guess to answer that question about how quickly things moved, I think like everything feels slow, especially when you're young.
Right.
It doesn't feel like it's moving that fast. I guess in retrospect, maybe it kind of did, but there was like a phase of, like Joe and I actually met Wayne, and we we decided that we didn't want to do what he proposed, which was like this rock and roll boy band is how he pitched it, and we were just
Okay.
like, I don't know about the boy band part, and so we weren't going to do it until our parents, both of our parents were like, you're calling that guy back. Because they were thinking about what we were going to do after we finished Berkeley. So yeah, we called him back, and then like we kind of worked on like, well, what if we kind of do it more how we want to do it, and what if we bring in people that we know and that kind of thing, and because he wanted to actually just put us together with people that he would find and stuff, and there was a short period I think of time where we like tried that, and we were like, yeah, no, that's not what we want to do, or that doesn't really work. It doesn't, like, things don't really just come together that easily. And we also happen to know people who are really good musicians that would be like right in this world, and so yeah. But stylistically, like, yeah, it was maybe a departure from where we were with the Americana thing, but like, like Joe said, it wasn't so far off. I mean, it was still guitar music with, catchy choruses and stuff like that. But, I guess we were like, at that point, like focusing more like, and it was kind of branded as like, oh, you guys are power pop. And we were like, oh, okay, and I had heard that term years before because I was into like punk rock in high school, and so like I remember playing with bands who were like power pop bands or whatever, and like I didn't really know what that meant, but then we kind of like went down that path of like oh, here are all these bands that like are labeled power pop and they do this certain thing, and we were like, oh, okay, we could probably do some of that thing too, you know.
Great. And so when you were when did you find, so we were reading your story obviously, and you start reading it, and then they'll throw in little bits on the old Wikipedia page that will make your eyes prick up, or my eyebrows prick out the top of my head. And the first one pops in when you've got Kiss's Paul Stanley and Elliot Easton from the Cars on your first EP. What? How did you feel? Did those names come up? Were they just in the room, sat on Kyle's red sofa when you walk in the room? How did that all kind of happen?
Well, the Paul Stanley connection is that Wayne, who we signed with to manage the band, Wayne tour managed Kiss in the 80s, I think, during the non-makeup phase.
Okay.
And he remained good friends with Paul. And when we were like kind of just getting our thing together, just writing songs and rehearsing and figuring out what we were doing, Kiss happened to be playing in town in Boston with Aerosmith. And
Casual.
we went to the show and we met Paul backstage. I think we met the whole band backstage.
Sure.
And then the next day, it was Thanksgiving here in the U.S., and we had Thanksgiving dinner with Paul Stanley at Wayne's house. And so we had this, he took this interest in like, oh, this sounds like a very interesting, project that you guys have going on. So then when we were actually making the record, Ben Romans, the keyboard player, and Ben was kind of the principal songwriter in the band at that time. He and I wrote a bunch of songs that we sent to Paul, and he invited us out to write with him. I actually didn't get to go because I was held back to work on the record, but Ben went, and so they wrote one of the songs on the first record. And then the Elliot Easton thing, Joe, do you remember the connection?
I think we just reached out to him and asked him to come play on the record. And I think the idea was like, we're a Boston band. The Cars were a Boston band, really influenced by the Cars. And so I think we just reached out to Elliot and we flew him out to Boston. And he came in and was just like ready to roll. Like he had a guitar solo that he worked on, and he showed up, and he did like 2 takes of it, and it was like a complicated solo, and it was like, oh, that's it, yeah, cool. Like,
And they left.
and then the other interesting thing about that day is when Elliot was there, Greg Hawkes, the keyboard player from the Cars, came in and hung out in the studio. So we had 2 members of the Cars in the studio that day.
Greg Hawkes, I think, still lives in Boston. So
Yeah.
He came
Easy. It's just walking down the street, right?
right.
Yeah.
Was this did this feel normal, or did this feel special? Were you like, oh, it's just how it's done, or were you, or did it feel? I don't know. If
I think when you're young, like, I mean, at least speaking for myself, I think it was kind of like, oh, of course this is the way things were supposed to go. Like,
right.
I'm going to go to music school. I'm going to meet some guys. We're going to get a record deal, and we're going to have a hit song. Like, I think it's only, I think, as you get older and you reflect back on it, that you're like, oh, that was really strange.
Right.
So we're gonna kind of fast forward a little bit. So you release the debut album, you're signed, it's all good, you recorded the album, you've got these guys involved, and it did well, right? Did very well. Did really well in the charts. What was kind of the vibe in the band at this stage? Were you kind of like just riding the wave, or were you? I guess kind of similar to what James's question was just now. Like, did you kind of understand what was going on, or were you just kind of going with it?
If you've ever seen the movie That Thing You Do, I'd say it was the most. It was like that's what it kind of felt like.
Okay.
Hearing your song on the radio, like, screaming up the charts, sort of thing. Like it really like That Thing You Do is very accurate. I would say.
Yeah, and actually, so before the record came out, we were on tour, and we were watching the song just go up the charts every week, on the Billboard 100, which I think was surreal. I mean, at the same time, like Joe said, it probably in this weird way felt like, yeah, of course.
This is what happens.
But it was definitely also surreal, like, wow, our song is like on a real chart, like the chart. And the day the record came out, it was I think it was like number 11 on the Hot 100 Billboard chart, and it was number 1 on the iTunes chart. And that was the awesome part. But we also kind of were aware of certain things that were not all amazing things, because that same day, well, actually, I guess we learned about this maybe like a week later, that the day our record came out, the label president was pushed to resign from the company. I think he and one of the other heads of the company were just not getting along. And so we lost a lot of the team that were kind of the champions of the project, like that brought us in and that really loved working with us and stuff. And so then we had all these new people that we were set up to work with, that I think, it wasn't the same. Like we didn't get the same label love. And I think we felt that, fairly quickly, like we could feel this shift, which we didn't know where that would lead. But, it was perceivable.
This is, I mean, with all the kind of artists that we've spoken to that have been on big labels, this is like the exact same story that they tell. It's just mad, isn't it? It happens a lot. You go on some big tours, the likes of Ashlee Simpson, the name I can never pronounce, Alanis Morissette. Did I do that right? Probably not. And Backstreet Boys, is that right? So what was it like going out with all these pop stars? I assume playing pretty big venues, right? I can't imagine they're playing 200 capacity basements.
Yeah, I mean, when we were with the Backstreet Boys, it was really big. It was like 20,000.
Wow.
20,000 seat sheds, or like large arenas. We did part of their Canada. Actually, I think we did their whole Canada leg, and we were playing in these hockey arenas in Canada, which are, just absolutely massive. So yeah, those shows were mega and they were big, but it is funny. You do get used to it, and it just starts to feel a little bit weirdly normal.
Was there
until you don't do it for a long time, and then then the next time you do it, you're like, whoa.
Was there kind of a part of you guys that was, obviously it's amazing playing these huge venues, but was there you mentioned about, or in the story, as about kind of you want to be a proper band, not a kind of pop act, so to speak. Was there a part of you that wished you were out kind of playing with, I don't know, bands like Green Day and Fall Out Boy and bands like that? Or were you just kind of grateful for what you were doing?
You
got the eyes there, Joe.
You always want to be with cooler bands, right? I think that.
I didn't say they were cooler.
I guess there was some of that, a feeling like, oh, I wish we were with Green Day or something. But I think that's also being young too, not just appreciating what you have in the moment and
Sure.
realizing you could be playing a 200 person basement somewhere, and you're playing the a Normo Dome in Montreal. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, it does. So obviously we at the Emo Dad we like to obviously talk about the music, but what we really like to talk about is random shit. And I've got here, so correct me if I'm wrong, that there was stores in the States that were stocking various Click 5 merchandise items such as lunch boxes, backpacks, trading cards. Is this ringing a bell? You're looking at me like this is news to you. But the one that I'm interested in is hair gel. Is this true?
I mean, if it is, we never saw any money from it.
Definitely trading cards. Those
Yeah,
are
okay.
cool.
So the trading cards were bundled into the CD. So if you bought the CD, you got a trading card.
Oh, was there like special ones and stuff?
Well, it was of each of us. One.
Did they have like skill? Did they have like skills? Was it like in computer games? Was it like guitar playing hundreds,
We should have done
singing 75?
It did have stuff on the back. It had like facts on the back.
more. It did have facts, yeah.
But you couldn't like trump each other. Like, oh, I've got.
Oh no.
We should have gotten more funny with it. I don't think that was. I mean, I don't remember if that was a label thing or what, but like it definitely wasn't our idea to do it. It was, I guess, kind of a genius marketing thing, because if you wanted to collect all of us, you might have to buy a few more CDs.
That is smart.
As far as lunch boxes, backpacks, and hair gel, I don't know of any of that.
There were lunch boxes, I think.
You remember lunch boxes? Okay, I don't.
The hair gel, I don't remember. Or someone was making money off that.
I'm really sad if this isn't true.
No, I don't remember ever seeing that stuff, and I definitely don't remember ever getting paid for it. So, I would be skeptical about at least some of it.
First thing we're all going to do after this is start Googling
if
these items exist or
Go
not.
to eBay, see if anyone's selling it.
And then the wonderful MySpace. You were, am I right in thinking you were number one most viewed band page at one point?
I think there was that.
At the time, that's the pinnacle, right? That's all you can dream for, being number one on MySpace.
I guess so. I mean, probably that's why we had certain doors open for us, like getting on some of the tours that we were able to get on as a band without a long track record or whatever. I guess because maybe that stuff was happening, it was that was kind of our leverage. And we did some stuff like with MySpace. I remember like going to the MySpace office in LA and like doing some sort of live recording thing for them and some exclusive thing for that. I remember doing stuff, but I don't really remember what came of it. Actually,
Nice.
You know what? One thing that did come from it, Miley Cyrus apparently was a big fan on MySpace before she blew up with Hannah Montana.
Okay.
And then when the Hannah Montana thing happened and they were making one of the soundtracks, I don't know which one, but one of the songs from the first record called Pop Princess ended up on that soundtrack.
Nice.
Which was pretty cool. Yeah.
And that song is that song is probably the biggest banger we have live these days in like the new iteration of Click 5 in their 40s. That one goes pretty hard.
Nice.
Right. We've reinvented it and it's awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty badass.
Right. Well, James is gonna now take over, and Carl, you'll be pleased to know that we're now gonna talk
You.
about stuff that you were involved
Oh,
in.
that's all right.
Yeah,
That's all
we're
right.
coming
Yeah,
in
no,
now. We were trying
no.
to get through that quick so that we could keep Carl in the conversation. And the first,
That's all good. I always learn something. I'm like sitting here like eating popcorn, listening to these stories. I love it.
Googling hair
So
gel.
well, I can,
yeah, I'm like hair gel.
yeah,
I'm like
I
that's
can
genius.
I can confirm there's no Click 5 hair gel on eBay. I've just had a look. It's
Okay.
not there. But if anyone listening has some, send us a picture
Yeah.
and we'll post it. Or if
Right.
you've got it, send it. I'll try it. I'm into it. Kyle, I've lost my notes. I've lost my notes because I was looking at eBay. I've lost my notes. Kyle, how upset are you that you did not star in the major motion picture Taking 5?
It's something I think about daily.
Is
Um,
that...
and it's funny because we get requests for there's a song Kidnap My Heart that was in that movie that Five Leo Rise, the fictional name for the Click Five, performed, and it's crazy like the nostalgia that is around that movie. It must have gone much farther and wider than any of these guys knew. And like for example, in Singapore, we just played 2 nights at this beautiful theater there, and like had prepared this whole set list of stuff from our records, of course. And one of the biggest like people were like chanting for the song. It was this whole crazy social media thing. People wanted to hear that song. So of course there's pieces of me that like hear about these really funny stories about them being in this movie and what that must have been like to act in a movie as a band with your buddies, and I'm sure it would have been a blast, but it's kind of funny to see it from the outside. And we love playing that song. It's so fun. It's actually a great pop song. So it's all great. Like I love, like I said, like hearing all these stories from before I was in the band. I'm just a fly on the wall. It's beautiful.
I did try and I wanted to watch it, but I ran out of time. I'm not going to lie. I ran out of time. I didn't get to watch it. I watched the trailer. Incredible work. Incredible work, gentlemen. Incredible work. I did spend some time on the IMBD page, right? And Matt hasn't let me do a segment where I read out the comments on that page.
Oh God.
Your reactions, so we're not doing that. You'll be pleased to know. But I didn't realise you were given new names in the movie. I assumed you would have just been yourselves in the movie playing this band, but they gave you other names, right? The characters in this. So Kyle, Ethan and Joe, did you get to pick your name in this band, or did they give you a new name? And follow-up question, Kyle, what would your fake name have been?
Well, mine would have been the Dragon, so I can start with that.
Perfect. Absolutely no notes.
I like Joe's the best. Joe was like this like Russian oligarch that didn't speak a word and was like a DJ, also wore tracksuits, so that's pretty badass.
Was that did you have to go method for that one, or was it like
well, the character was originally German, and I thought, well, it'd be funnier if I were Russian. And
that's good acting. See, like he's born for this.
You're building,
and I didn't really. I'd say I wasn't really into the whole movie thing.
Really?
And I didn't really want to talk. I didn't really want to do anything. So I was like, well, how about I'm just a silent Russian? I think I maybe had one line or two. Like I barely did anything.
Did you request to go to Russia to prepare?
I went to Utah.
Close enough.
Okay. Same. Goulash. No, dry though. This is dry. There's no vodka in Utah, surely.
Right.
No, there's no vodka in Utah.
No.
They're known for their borscht in Utah.
Good. And Ethan, did you do any? Were you Brecht or Stanislavski in your training for the role?
Definitely, yeah. Uh, no, I mean, I'm trying to remember how that all went. I think we were just cast, like the script was written. We were just like, here, you're going to be this character or whatever. So that's where the names came from. I think the names were probably in the script. Um, my dog's here. Bud?
Hey, Chavez.
Hey,
Are we gonna get a dog
Hey,
moment? Oh my
buddy.
Hey,
goodness!
it's Chavez.
There he is.
Buddy, it's not time to eat yet.
Amazing.
Sweetheart.
Very.
Um,
That's very sweet. If you need to feed the dog, that's absolutely fine.
No, it's not. He's not due for another hour and 15 minutes.
He always tries to push it a little bit earlier
Yeah,
every day.
exactly.
just like me eating dinner at
Yeah.
11:30. That's absolutely. No, don't worry. I'm going to move on now from acting. Don't worry. That was the end of my acting obsession. So Kyle, you joined the band. What was the first day like with the band? Do you remember the first time you got together?
Well, I remember. So they showed up at when they officially like decided that I was the right guy for the job. I remember getting this like crazy banging on my apartment door, and they showed up with a bottle of Dom and a recording contract.
In a dropout form.
And a dropout form. That might have been the dropout form. Maybe the recording contract was later. But you showed up with a Berkeley dropout form and a bottle of champagne. So that was pretty awesome. And like Ethan said earlier, it's yeah.
That dropout rate.
Yeah.
You know, there you go.
Yeah. And that was like Ethan said too, it's like my teachers were very much like, dude, go do that. Like that's why you're here, you know. So the first day was very fun. It was mostly just like hanging out, but very, very quickly, probably within days, we were heavy duty in the studio working on the second album. And they had a lot of songs already written for it. I think there were, 60 to 80 songs, not all total complete ideas, but out of those, there was probably like 20 or 25 that were like, full songs. And we started going through the process of tracking the best ones and seeing what felt good and felt right. There were some that they had tracked before already, and we started remaking those and reimagining those. And I wrote a song with Ben, the keyboard player, in that same time frame, like right before. I think actually the song with him, I think happened, maybe you know better, Ethan, you have a great memory. I think that happened before you guys officially were like, yeah, that's the dude. But it could have been after. I don't really remember. But anyway.
I don't entirely remember, but
yeah,
it's possible it was kind of in that.
Yeah. So we wrote a song called Empty, which is the last song on that second album. So that was a really, really cool experience for me to get in there and actually write something and have somewhat of a thumbprint on one of the songs there. But it's a theme of this whole conversation is at the time I don't think I knew to the level of what type of studio it was, even because we're all like we've all become studio nerds, and
Okay.
my job these days outside of the Click 5 is producing music for other artists, and I'm in my studio and I'm a nerd about equipment and all that stuff. And back then I was too, but I don't think it really sank in like that we're in one of the best recording studios in the world with like every vintage amp you could ever imagine, and like one of 10 Mellotrons in the entire world, like the exact same one they used on Strawberry Fields, and like all these like incredible instruments. And of course our producer, who's since passed away, he quickly became a mentor and almost this like second father figure for me, and I know he was for all of us. Just this like family. It kind of turned into this like beautiful like community and family like very, very quickly. So I mean it was words don't do it justice. It was pretty special time.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely magical.
Yeah.
But I wonder, I mean, like, I don't know if you guys fall down the studio YouTube rabbit hole,
Oh yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. Oh
Show
yeah.
us your junk and all the rest of it. When
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like obsessively watching these lads dust off things from the 70s or dragging out, as you say, the cords that connected the Mellotron to the board in Abbey Road or
Yeah, exactly.
whatever. But I don't
Exactly.
know if studio culture was so much of a thing then, because I don't know if you had a way to access it
It
like you
definitely
do
was
now.
not. No, yeah, it is. It's ballooned because right then at that time in like '05, '06, '07, the laptop
Right.
studio culture was just starting. For example, at Berkeley, you had to pay for it, but you were required to purchase a Mac laptop that you could record in, and you had to have
Oh,
Logic on it. Um, and you basically, a lot of our classes, like Ethan was a music production and engineering major. That was your major, right, Ethan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So MP&E, they called it. So he was MP&E. I took a lot of MP&E classes. So you were actually like in a studio in the school where they have a full mixing board and mic locker and all this stuff where you go and make records and try to make it sound. You do a lot of sound alike stuff. Um, but anyway, you're required to get this laptop and learn those techniques in your dorm or your apartment. So that was just starting, but the quality was just not there. And
right.
possibly more importantly, the track count that you were allowed back in those days with the processing on those computers was very, very low. Um, so it was hard to get to that point of like having these grand arrangements. You could still do it as there have been workarounds since the tape days, um, but it wasn't quite to the point that it is now, where you would have invested a ton of money in like mic pre's and stuff. That was still something that you need. You were like, oh, I need to go to a recording studio and cut drums and whatever. So going from like an apartment where you just have a couple pieces of equipment to then walking into Q Division was the name of the studio, is the name of the studio. Um, it was like, wait, you guys have this and you guys have this and this. So it was, yeah, we learned a lot. Like still, to this day, it's like one of the best schools I think we went to was actually just making those albums in that studio.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And while you were making that second record, were you trying to, did you have a direction in mind? Bands you were listening to, you particularly were trying to be inspired by or emulate, or sounds you were trying to get?
Well, I think kind of touching on what we were talking about earlier and one of your questions, Matt, we were definitely actively running away from the Disney and ultra pop, the boy
Okay.
band side of a rock and roll boy band. We were actively running away from that. Image, sound, everything. We were still, the influences stayed the same. For the most part, it was still more power pop influences. But maybe like, yeah, like at that time we were all like geeking out over Wilco. What's the Blue Sky album? Sky Blue Sky? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were geeking out over that. That had just come out, so there's some like slightly more Americana influences, um, but even our live show, um, which
See,
we
there's
kind
a
of
big
laughed. Was
British
that?
British influence on that second record.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Common People. We were like referencing the shit out of that.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
also a couple of British writers on some of those songs, so that was sort of there in the DNA, I think, too.
Totally.
These writers, Jez Ashurst and Chris Braid, are on a few of those songs. But yeah, I mean, to add to the things we were listening to, I mean, like, I was a huge Green Day fan in the 90s. Like, the first time I heard, um, I guess it would have been the Dookie record in 1994. Like, I was a huge fan since then. And I think there were some, like, just like guitar and drum sounds in particular that like we were like, or that at least I had in mind, like referencing on that second record when we were making it, that was sort of in that world, which I didn't think was like so far off from what we were doing on the first record, but maybe just like a little bit more like dialed in or something. I mean, like you can hear it like on a song like Flip Side, and the chorus is like the guitar sound, you know, and actually the bass sound. I mean, I don't think it was like putting those records on and being like, how do we get that? You know, I think it was more just like
Right.
more just like a vibe, an overall vibe, just like, oh, I want it to be a bit more, you know, a bit more Green Day on that sound or whatever. You know, and trying to think who else. When so Ben and I wrote the song. Sorry, blanking on the name.
It's all right. We know.
You can't
Yeah.
sing your own song.
Yeah. No, it's fine because we know bands have their own names for songs which are not the names.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It was always addicted to me, so I was just blanking on the name. When we wrote that, we were our producer Mike Deneen was like, "Wow, that is so talking in your sleep," and we were like, "What's that?" You know, it's like we didn't know the song "Talking in Your Sleep," and so we went and listened to "Talking in Your Sleep," and we were like, "Oh wow, there's definitely a similarity there that was unintentional, but like, you know, maybe absorbed somehow or something." But I think I had the Police more in mind on that one.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
You know, but then there was like, you know, some stuff that was probably deliberate, like taking from the Romantics, you know, once we were in the studio and once the producer said that, it's like, oh, what if we had an actual part that was like that little part in Talking in Your Sleep or something. And there's also like stuff on there that's like Dire Straits, like certain little guitar parts and stuff that it was like, you know, having like Mark Knopfler in mind or something like that. So yeah, I mean, but that was always our thing. I think we were eclectic. We were like all over the place with like things that we liked and things that we were trying to pull from and put into a record and make sense of it. So that record definitely has a lot of that, you know, variability going on, I guess.
Yeah. And I think we read some interviews around from the time which were not very happy about the variation, which I think was sad because I like the fact that a record is different. And that why would you want 12 songs of the same song?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's very exciting. I think it's nice when records have moods and you try different things. And as you're saying, you experiment and you can take the theme of a song and push it. And I think that's what makes it not. We were listening to it over the weekend, and I feel like that's what makes it not so locked into that time because of the variety. That was my sense anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That's more common now. It's becoming more common now just to be, you know, artistic with, like, not, it doesn't have to be cohesive, the whole record, you know. It's totally normal now, which I love, for things to make crazy left turns and you know, keep people on their toes. It's exciting, you know. It's art at the end of the day. Shouldn't be predictable.
Right. Behind the curtain, I have to drop off the call for a slight emergency for the next 10 minutes. So I'm going to pass over to my co-host, Matt.
Okay.
We will ably handle the next question about, what is it? File sharing and burning CDs. So be excited for that. and I'll be back.
All right.
We're going to skip that question. It's terrible. I want to know, so you guys have still do very well in Asia, right? You've just got back from there, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But am I right? I've lost all confidence in my questions after the lunchbox fiasco. But am I right? Am I right in thinking that you went out there with the Black Eyed Peas.
Yes, that is true.
How does that happen?
Man, how does that happen? I think it was. I don't know. Maybe you guys know more than I do, but we had a promoter that was putting us with them. I think it was mostly because the timing was right, and we had a song that was doing well at the radio at that time. So, we probably would have looked enticing to a promoter to add to a bill like that. But that was the same label, I think, right?
I don't know about the label, but I think we shared a booking agent.
Booking agent, right? Okay.
Yeah, or if they had a different agent, they were like under the same roof.
Right. Yeah.
Like at the
CAA
same agency.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And was that your first trip to Asia, or?
No, right? Because we did some like mall shows are really big over there.
Okay.
So we did a trip prior to that where we went into like Manila in the Philippines, for example, and knew we were playing these mall shows, which is a thing in America too. Not really anymore, but it's still a very, very big thing in a lot of parts of Asia and Southeast Asia specifically. But we went into this like they're set up for big shows too, which I don't think we knew the degree, but we showed up to this mall in Manila, and there's like many thousand, like 10,000 people or something, like a huge crowd that you would not expect in a mall because they're massive malls. It's like malls on crack, American malls on crack. It's like an atrium that goes up 7 floors, and you're playing in this atrium, and there's already 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 people on the floor, and then there's like all a bunch of levels of that. So we're like looking up in this like cylindrical rock show thing, and a small nothing special stage, no production, and we just played a show in many places like that. So I think that was our first realization that we had a song that was connecting over there. Jenny was that song, and it set records on the radio over there, longest played #1 kind of thing, and nice. It's still one of those like it's gotten this like cult following almost, that's brought a lot of people into the scope of the Click 5 through that song, especially in Asia.
Was it like an intention to sort of break Asia, for want of a better term, or did it kind of happen accidentally? How did it come about?
Well, I think it was label stuff there, right, guys? Like our songs were sent globally through Warner,
sure,
to all the different territories, and we had an absolutely lovely woman who we're still close with. We're still talking to actually, like very recently, who worked at Warner at the time, and she just really liked it and kind of gave it a little extra push. Because I'm sure a lot of major label stuff comes through, and they're required to work it to some extent, but it got a little bit of an extra push from this lovely woman, Sammy. Hello, Sammy. And it just kind of connected over there, thanks to a little extra effort from Warner, I think. Yeah.
And I'm really interested in this show that you guys did at Angkor Wat.
Yeah.
In Cambodia. I've been to Angkor Wat, and I can't see how you make a concert happen there. Explain this to me.
It's not meant for it.
Okay, thank you. That was my fault.
I don't think they've done that since. Have they? I'm pretty sure that
probably not.
We were like going with this, like we're the first band ever to play Angkor Wat, and it might be the only.
And last.
First and last.
It's kind of like a Spinal Tap sort of thing.
Yeah.
The first and only band to ever play.
That's cool though, right?
So cool, man.
Oh, I mean,
so
it was amazing
cool.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean,
what was the kind of I was I was watching the video on YouTube, but it was shot from kind of quite close to the stage. So I wanted to get an idea of kind of how big the show was. How big was that show?
That one, we did a lot of those shows. It was with MTV.
Okay.
They put on these shows that were like raising awareness for human trafficking. They're called MTV Exit. We did lots of them. And out of all of them, this was probably the smallest one. I think it was probably under 3,000, under 4,000,
Okay.
something like that. Not a crazy huge crowd. And I think part of that is probably just the grounds. You know, it's sacred grounds. They can't really hold, you know, a ton of people. So they had grandstands and everything, and had built a stage there. We were just off to the side, and in the back you could see Angkor Wat, and they had lit up Angkor Wat. They had these lights on it. I haven't watched that video in a long time, but there's a really, really, really pixelated video that I think our front of house engineer took, that shows his point of view, which is like from the mixing board way up in the crowd, and it's stunning. It's stunning. I think, I mean, we had like sound check there. I remember like sitting with a monk, like in like we had time in between sound check and the show, and I remember like walking into, because we just had like free access to walk in there, just exploring, walking around, and I had this like very, very long, I call it a non-conversation because he didn't speak any English whatsoever, but we still communicated somehow. It's beautiful. He was like, I think, telling me about his kids, and like, that can't be true though because he's a monk. I don't know. It was strange. Now that I said that out loud, I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
does
No,
I just have kids?
that took a moment. Actually, that took a moment.
Wasn't his kids, but yeah, just a really interesting experience, that I don't think we'll ever be able to recreate. You know, being in Cambodia, playing at one of the most sacred temples in the world. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you haven't got ambitions to do a temple tour, maybe go to the pyramids or something.
I like the idea.
Tick them all off.
Yeah, writing that down. Temple tour.
Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
Vatican City, getting there with the Pope, nailing
right.
it.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, not quite as awesome as playing at Angkor Wat. We kind of find ourselves around 2009, and you were dropped by the record label. Hopefully, I've got those dates right. What was the kind of vibe in the band when that did happen?
Ethan, you want to go for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think like at the point we got dropped, we didn't. We weren't feeling the benefit of being on a label.
Relief was the was the
anymore.
vibe.
Yeah, maybe in some way. And you know, we were really energetic towards making our third record, and we had a bit of money in the bank and paid for it ourselves.
Okay.
And I think, you know, along the lines of our naivety and a lot of luck for how things had played out in many ways, I think we just assumed that it would just be like, oh yeah, we'll just make our third record, put it out, it'll be awesome, it'll be big. Wherever it's big, and our career will continue. So, you know, unfortunately, we learned that it was not so simple, and we also were like, I think at that point, really evolving what we wanted to sound like and stuff. We made a bunch of that third record playing live, as opposed to like overdubbing in that more like crafted pop sort of sense. We were playing more like a live band because we had just been back from being on tour where we were playing live on stage every night, and we felt like, okay, well, the band has never been quite as cohesive as it is now, so we should just, you know, utilize that on the next record. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a really cool record. It's definitely different from what we were doing before in a lot of ways. And I guess, it's just sort of a snapshot of where we were at in that moment. And I think our attitude was, fuck the label, like we'll just make it happen ourselves.
Yeah, we were pretty pissed. Like they just like didn't give us a chance. Once I joined the band, they were done with us as soon as there wasn't like a clear, radio station that was a well-known radio station that picked up the single with minimal work, that you could tell they were pretty checked out. So we were pretty frustrated with that, and we've talked a lot about this now that we're back together in 2025 and 2026 now. How much we thought of ourselves as failures back then. And that has carried on for 15 years beyond 2009, when that happened, because we really, like, we just told you the whole story of how euphoric and magical it was to go and make that second record, but then it just didn't get the push from Atlantic in the States. Obviously, we had a different experience in Asia, and that gave us a lot of rocket fuel over there. But even then, we weren't looking at Asia. We were still focused on America and Europe. So we didn't look at Asia as like something we should focus on. And now it's completely different. And having like this hindsight is 2020 thing, we're just so grateful for like even the fact that we could afford to make our third record on our own and go back in that studio. Like, we just have this gratitude for, anyone caring at all about what we do. But back then we thought we were failures for sure.
It's I guess it's hard, isn't it? And you were on that label for quite a while. And I guess when that support gets taken away, it's kind of you're a bit kind of lost as to what to do. How were the kind of tours and things when TCV came out? How were the tours going at that point?
Joe?
I mean, they were small tour. Oh, you go ahead, Joe.
I mean they were. There's definitely a part of it that was a lot of fun, because it was like, now we were in the 200-seat club in the basement.
Right, okay.
And we really became a great band during that period. In terms of, we were doing these kind of residency runs up and down the East Coast where we were playing probably 3 or 4 shows a week, for months on end, sort of thing. And we were doing a lot of different songs. We were doing covers. So, in some respect, musically, it's a very fun time. But it definitely was not on the level of playing arenas or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag, I'd say. And then we kind of all moved on.
Yeah. Yeah.
James, do you wanna pick up here if you're back in the game?
Sorry, back in the room, whether you like it or not, I'm here. So when you say you moved on, what? So I've got a note here that just says, "What has everybody been up to?" How did the what is it painful to talk about the parting, or at that point was it quite? It doesn't sound like it was painful. Or am I misreading?
I mean, there's pain in it that, we wish it had, continued, and we didn't feel the need to stop, because there was reasons for stopping where it wasn't doing well enough to support our lives, and we had to move on and figure out what we were going to do that was going to support us living in New York and wherever else. But I would say overall, it was amicable with us. I think there was an understanding that this needed to happen. at the time. When we had management then that we weren't really connecting with, and there were several elements that, again, hindsight, it's like we can see how important those elements are, because now we have a great team around us, and just see how important that is. Oh my God, to keep things going, and we just didn't have those things back then, so it just felt very lost. But everything happens for a reason, and
Sure.
I think the strength that we feel now is largely in part because we had so much time away from it, and got a chance to realize how important it is and how great it is to be in a band and how fun it is. And we've had a chance to bolster up other areas of our lives, and whether that's relationships or things completely outside of music, and just have a little bit better stability as human beings, as men, outside of music. I think that brings a much better footing to like where we start, even just like starting writing stuff. So the time away was well spent, even though it was like there's some dark periods through that time. I mean, for all of us, but it needed to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. So, Carl, we know because you have the best Wikipedia page.
Do I?
Yours is pretty good. Yeah,
Okay.
it very clearly details your kind of production and songwriting stuff that you've been up to, and I can
Cool.
see you're not a man who Googles himself, or
Not really.
maybe you
No.
are and you're playing. I don't know. I don't
Not
know. I don't
really.
think so. I don't think
No.
so.
What
But
what are we talking about here?
no, no, nothing bad, nothing bad at all. But it seems like you've made some solo records and you've done a lot of songwriting for other people, and you've been working as a producer. But Ethan and Joe, the internet is a bit blank. Joe, should we come to you first? What have the last 10 or 15 years or so had in store for you?
uh, More bands.
Okay,
Yeah, I've stayed in music, playing guitar for hire sort of thing. Uh,
great.
Guitar and bass. I played bass once for Celine Dion.
Nice. That's
Uh,
amazing.
and yeah,
Yes.
a lot of touring, kind of just professional musician sort of stuff, and uh, play with Linda Perry, in her solo band. And then currently I'm playing in Fountains of Wayne. So just staying busy as a working musician somehow.
Now you don't know the sadness in my heart that I could not prepare Celine Dion questions. I couldn't, I couldn't look that up. That's what I have to ask. Do you get to talk? Did you get to talk to her, or was it like, don't look in the
Very briefly.
eyes?
It was kind of
Like,
like she's gonna come in and then she's gonna leave.
right.
But she actually was very nice. I mean, the brief interaction. She kind of came in and thanked everyone, and that was it. And then we did the song, and that was it. So,
Phenomenal,
yeah,
phenomenal work. Very exciting. Sounds
That was
excellent work.
for TV, right, Joe?
yeah. I was on the Ellen show.
Right.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely, man. That must be. Is it is it fun to go in as a player for hire without any extra kind of pressure? You're just there to do the show and enjoy it.
Uh, yeah,
No.
it's fun. I mean, it's fun to be working. I'll say that nothing really though can measures up to what it's like being in your own band. Like
Okay.
when you get out, there's nothing like that in the world. For me, like when you go out and you're like, well, these are our songs. These are the songs. This is me,
Yeah.
you know. Um, yeah, I mean, it's fun to go out in front of a huge crowd and play, but it's something special when it's actually like, oh, this is my band. Like that.
Right.
That is, as a musician, I don't think there's anything better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, I hear that. And Ethan, any Celine Dion in your life? Any?
No Celine Dion. I was playing guitar for Becky G for a little bit. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Becky G.
uh,
She's amazing.
Becky.
but I play in another band called Atomic Tom, and we're still active here and there. Put out a record last year. I do a lot of writing and production. I do a lot of commercial work because it pays bills, sadly. But not sadly. I mean, I have fun doing it. And I do a lot of mixing for various producers and artists. Yeah, I mean, musically, that's kind of what I've been up to for the past, 10-ish years. And I mean, even like during the Click 5, I was really into producing other people. I sort of always had an interest in that, and went to school, as Kyle mentioned, I studied music production and engineering, and so like that was always like, even just in our band, part of my interest was in that part of it, or that side of it. I loved being in the studio as much as being on stage. I mean, being on stage is amazing, but I always had such a great time going to work every day at the studio. That was always a blast, and like the routine of it, but also the interesting, just creative side of it. And the art, I guess, of it. So yeah, that's been what I've been up to.
Super
We're all married
cool.
too.
Nailed
Yeah.
it. Very well done,
Yeah.
gentlemen. Bravo.
Yep. So
Yeah,
we've been
nailed that one.
living real lives, trying to cultivate a real life. That's been I think for me that's been the most effort outside of music, is just trying to like not be flailing
Yeah.
personally.
Oh yeah. That's something I have a lot of
Yeah.
experience in, the
Well,
flailing.
so you said
yeah.
immediately on the call
Yeah.
ADD. I'm like
Yeah.
massively ADD, and
Welcome.
yeah, it's been I thank God for my wife. She really keeps things grounded in that realm and keeps things on track. It's yeah, it's good. We all have great women in our lives. So that's been helpful.
Amazing. Mine didn't stay, so we did that didn't work out.
Okay.
Yeah. The ADHD, it did not work. It was,
Yeah,
it was the
I
overriding
understand.
factor in that disaster. Now,
Yeah.
I did just want to mention, it's amazing what artists do track across the pond and what do not. Becky G, never heard of her in my life. 25 million monthly plays.
I know, right?
Incredible. Nothing
Yeah,
over here. Nothing.
Yeah,
it's
well,
crazy. Yeah,
And you would have thought, I still find that fascinating, that you would have thought in a more monoculture, which we seem to have, there would be less of that. But there are still this sort of, we are still pockets of art.
yeah,
Wild.
yeah.
So how did the coming back together? How did that start? Was there a catalyst, or was it something that was always up in the air?
A WhatsApp group normally is how it starts.
Yeah, is that
Yeah,
what it was?
yeah. Well, I mean, I was saying this from stage on the last few tours, but Joe has been actively pushing for
Campaigning.
us campaigning for us to get back together for many years. I think there was definitely a time period where it seemed unlikely, but I don't know, maybe the last like at least 5 years. We've had conversations about it, or maybe like a show would come up or something. We actually got offered, was it Lollapalooza a few years
No,
ago?
I don't even think that wound up like not happening.
Oh, okay. Well,
No,
there's been a
the whole
it was
thing.
some
Yeah,
other festival.
the festival went bust, right? Or they went,
It was like
yeah,
fire.
okay,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Um, But there's been little things here and there, but it just never either. It was too big of a mountain to climb to reawaken everything, because there's many reasons. But just like spending that much time away, even stuff like the equipment we need to just go play a show is expensive, and the rehearsal we would need to like really get sounding good again is like weeks kind of, and to go and just play a few songs somewhere, it just never got over that hump of like, is the money right for us to not like, totally eat shit on this and spend a bunch of money. So there were a lot of things that it was percolating, but Joe continued to push for this, and he's the glue. He's the glue in Click 5 that keeps things going. So it came down to like them texting me. Both, I think Joe and Ethan had spoken about this and had some conversations. You guys can pick up, but you had some conversations about some shows in Asia.
Firing for the last 10 years to try to get the band back together. Right, Ethan? I'd say.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I think just last year, kind of it was kind of a perfect storm. The right offers came through, and then I think initially it was kind of like, oh, well, let's just see how it goes. And then I would say within the first 10 seconds of the first show back, we were all like, oh, we're doing this again. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And another thing is, in the background, we're far enough removed, well over a decade since we were active, and this word kept coming up, nostalgia. And because of that stuff in the early mid 2000s, these people are now in their 30s who were teenagers back then, or so. And then there's this whole Gen Z younger crew that has had time to have their older siblings or friends show them the music, and it's kind of done this like trickle down. So we've seen our listenership on Spotify just kind of jump over the past only few years, maybe 5 at most. And it started at, we were getting, which is still cool to think about, but we were getting, hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners. And over the past several years, we've started to see that creep closer and closer to 1 million. And I think in like late 2024, when we really started to have these conversations, it was like in the 650 to 750, 100,000 monthly listeners. So we're seeing this and being like, wait, there is something there. It's not like there's zero listeners and we're just like, we want to, be weekend warriors and just like try it again. There was actually like real concrete evidence that we had that people are still interested in what we have to offer. So yeah, like Joe and Ethan got some offers in Asia for us to come over and be a band again, and kind of like reunion show offers kind of thing. And I don't know what it was, but the call. So they texted me something like, "Hey, can you talk today?" or something.
Hey, Kyle,
like,
you were probably like, "Oh, great."
Do you have time to get on the phone, Kyle, right now?
And we had this conversation before, so admittedly there was some like, "Oh God, here we go," feeling. But for some reason, the conversation was immediately like, "Oh fuck, actually that sounds amazing. We should do this." So that was late 2024, and that was discussing shows for what we just did in Asia in May of 2025. So we started planning, and we went through the whole, like, I mean, it's tons of detail that we don't have to go into every little bit, but we had to find our old recording sessions to get tracks and have multi-track sessions so we could actually make a real production, that's going to fit in an arena. That was like a ton of work, months and months of going through that stuff and trying to find old like tapes, like literal tapes and trying to get Pro Tools sessions off of old, like, room-sized, like, servers. That luckily we had our producer, like we mentioned, he passed away, so that definitely made things difficult. And actually, the guy who mixed our second record, which we were looking for a lot of stuff from that, he passed away too. So there were these, huge question marks. So like, how are we going to get this stuff? So anyway, we had to go through that process and then just rehearse again. But funny enough, it did kind of come back pretty quickly once we were actually playing the songs again. It was like, oh wait, we just somehow inherently like knew where to be on the fretboard. And once we actually had everything we needed, all the elements were there, playing that part actually came back pretty quickly.
Nice. And I have a note here that says, how was performing with the Jonas Brothers? Have we made that up, or is that a real thing that happens?
that is a real thing that happened. You're
incredible.
Yeah. That's wild, man.
Is there a link there? So
yeah, you guys.
The backstory.
Yeah,
the backstory on that is, so way back in 2005 when we were touring with Backstreet Boys. I guess it would have been before the first record came out.
Okay.
We were playing Jones Beach Amphitheater in Long Island, New York, and every show on that tour was like us and then Backstreet Boys. Every night it was that way. And on this particular show, they were like, oh, by the way, there's a third act tonight, so you guys will be going on later and you have to finish your sound check early or whatever, So it's this group of three brothers, and it's their first show ever.
Wow.
No.
First show ever.
No.
They were being, and I don't know the whole backstory there, other than that they were being managed by the same guy at that time that was managing the Backstreet Boys. So they obviously had his interest. And I can't even remember that manager's name. I would be like, yes, that's it if I heard it, but whatever. So they were put on the show to open that night, and they did like I think a 25-minute set or something like that before we went on. And I think after that, the response from the fans was like, oh, okay, that's probably going to be something, like you can kind of just read that energy. And then we learned, like, over the years that I guess they were listening to our records and maybe being influenced by it, and drawing inspiration from certain things or whatever, and that they were fans, and they were, of course, at that point, like, we sort of did the around 2009 things for like this for us and like that for them, so we definitely did not cross paths again because of just totally different trajectories. But I guess when they saw that we were doing things again, they had us in mind for like, oh, we should bring them up to do our guest thing, because they were newly out on tour this past summer in the US, and having a guest come out and perform every night. And I'll let Kyle tell the story about how the invitation came to be.
Yeah. Joe Jonas DM'd me on Instagram, and I admit that I did not follow him at the time. So it came into my like requests, which I never look at. Like, never look at it. Not because there's so many. There's nothing there to look at. So I just never go over there. And for some reason, this is just one of those things. The universe provided this timing. I just happened to look at it that morning. And he had messaged the night before. And the message just said, hey, and like a waving emoji. It was like, hey man, and a waving emoji. And I was like, I looked at it and I was in bed.
Of course it did. Of course it did.
Yeah. I'm laying in bed with my wife, and I'm like, blurry vision, just opening my eyes and looking at my phone, and I'm like expecting this to be like a spam account, like a fake, like Joe Jonas, but it's spelled with two N's or something. And I look closer at it, and I'm like, oh, it's got the check mark, and I click on the profile, and it's him, and I'm like, wait, what? And I kind of heard that they were on tour, and I was like, oh my God, like, what is this? So I wrote back right away. I think I just said like, hey man, what's up? And he sent me a video message pretty quickly, like within a few minutes, of him in his like hotel room, which was like so sick, by the way.
You were checking out the background.
The background was like insane. You could tell he was like 400 floors in the air, and there's like multiple rooms that he was walking through. Sure. There was like velvet everywhere. It's Joe Jonas. I mean, it's Joe Jonas. What are you gonna do?
Right.
But yeah, he basically was like, kind of like what these guys were saying. He was like, man, we love you guys, and we're doing this thing where we bring somebody up every night, and we saw that you guys are back, and we have history together, and we think we would break the internet if you guys came up and joined us. So incredible. Mind's blown. Kind of like a that thing you do moment. My wife and I were walking our dog when he responded with that, and my dog, by the way, like, little funny thing that happened, my dog pulls so bad on the leash, and I just started matching his pace because I was like reading this, and like I'm usually having to like hold him back, and I was running. At a certain point, then all of a sudden I'm just running down my street with my dog, and he's having the time of his life. But yeah, just having this really, like, I'm yelling back to my wife, like, Joe Jonas wants us to come and play with them tonight. And she's like, what? But yeah, he was like, can you be in DC tonight?
That day? Oh my God.
That day. He was like, I don't know where you live. I don't know where you guys all are. Crazier things have happened. Is there any way you could do the show tonight? And of course, I'm like, I'm in LA. Joe's in LA. And we looked into all options. We were even considering that, like, over-the-counter private jet thing. And there was no logistical way that we could make it work for, like, the sound check. So I was like, fuck, like, is this our only shot at this? And I wrote him back and told him, and he was so sweet, like, oh my God, like the nicest people ever, by the way. Like, could not have been nicer and more welcoming to us. But he literally wrote back and was like, pick one of these, and sent every single remaining tour date they had.
Yes.
He was like, whatever.
I will do all of them. Yes.
Yeah, of course. We were joking about that. We were like, multiple? Can we pick all? Is that a checkbox we can check?
Yeah.
But we decided, we looked at all the options. Because we're from Boston, we were like, should we pick the Boston show? Because it was like a week and a half or something later. But at the end of the day, we decided to pick the first one that we could all make, which was the next show. We couldn't make the DC one that night, but the next one was like 2 days later in Philly, the Philly show. Mm-hmm. So we did that. We flew out the following day after this message came in. We were like on a plane to Philly to go play that show, and we did one song. We played Just the Girl. I mean, the whole thing was just like a fever dream. Like, the sound check was probably one of the smoothest. We played the song one time. We just played through it once with them. Their band joined in with us on drums and keys, and the Jonas Brothers sang like verse 2, and then joined in with us on the chorus. It's just awesome. Like, sounded great. We've never had an experience where our in-ear monitors like sounded good enough to where we didn't even have any comments. It was just like, I mean, there's a crew of like, we each had our own tech guy for like our ears and our instrument. Like, it was like luxury, that we've never experienced. We've played big shows before, but we've never experienced this level of like attention to detail, on you putting on a good show that night. Mm-hmm. And we were one very, very small piece of the show, obviously. So it was a career highlight without a doubt, and they couldn't have been nicer. They gave us this like unbelievable intro, so sweet. and said how they liked our records and were influenced by them. And the crowd just like, I think that was still like fairly early in this like reunion of ours. And I think that was another like huge jolt of rocket fuel. That's like, wait a second, there's a lot of people that know our band and know this song, Just the Girl. And there was 25,000 people that were sold out at this amphitheater outside of Philly, and the whole place is singing the chorus of that song, having no idea that we were going to be there. It's a complete surprise, as it is every night.
Not your fans specifically, nothing, immediately knew the song. That's incredible. I
mean, it was mental. Like the sound coming back from that, you know, like you can feel it. So I think that was another big thing where we were like, wait a second, all right, there's something here. We need to continue doing this. So
I bet Joe was like, see?
Yeah, yeah. Totally. I mean, I think I even said something to him about like, are you sure? Like, are we like us? You know, we kind of had that feeling of like, really? Us? Like, we should be here? Because they had just had like Demi Lovato and like, you know, these like, you know, big pop starlets, and you know, so we felt a little bit fish out of water, but it fit. It worked.
Amazing. I mean, you've been so gracious with your time, gentlemen, and we don't want to keep you forever at all, but we did just want to touch to close on the fact that you've got a new song out that is amazing.
Thanks.
It's quite a lot of acts, as you say, a lot of acts from that time period come back, do nostalgia things, and do not get on the bandwagon and make new music. It's strong move coming out with a new song. Was that always in the plan, or was that something that just kind of came together?
Well, I think we, as I said about this like past 5 or 10 years trying to get back together, that was always off the table. Like if, you know, thinking back to making records and how big of an operation that is and was back then, it just seems this like, you know, huge, like unsurmountable amount of effort and work to make a record. So it was always off the table, but now, as we said, like we have recording studios and you know, Ethan and I both have spaces to make, you know, high quality records in. So I think there was some natural evolution of like, wait, we can just do it now. Like if there's an idea, we can just do it. And that song, Throwback, was just like a short snapshot of being so inspired by all of this stuff that's happening and seeing fans again and experiencing what it is to be in a band, and hearing stories from people about 2005 and how they came to know us, and all these, like there was a lot of this like nostalgia swirling around us and made us feel very good. So that song, obviously it's called Throwback, so it's about all that stuff, and it's about kind of it's a bit of a time machine going back to 2005, and we pulled out all the old Click 5 tricks, as many as we could think of, and the power pop tricks. So I think it was like this natural thing of like, wait, there's a song, so why don't we just record it? And it started to become clearer to us, like we were hearing this over the years, that, you know, from promoters and booking agents and all those kinds of things. Like it of course helps to have current things to be promoting, and it helps for your whole, you know, machine to continue going into the future. So we're all understanding that, you know, it's good to have new music. And then I think most importantly, we're artists and musicians. So like if there's an idea there, it's why wouldn't we follow it? So we've been writing music all these years away from the band, just happens to be for other people, or for solo projects or bands we're in, different bands. So it was just a natural, like, hey, fuck it, let's lay this down and just throw it out and see what happens. Yeah, it's a fun song. Doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, I really enjoyed it. Bravo. Very, very excited to have you guys back.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thanks again, as I said, thanks again for your time. That's us. That's us done. Is there any other business you want to bring up? Stuff you want to promote? Anything else you want to say? Anything? Any other instruments I can look at and ask questions about?
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
you
nice.
keep bang on. What was that? You cannot bring that. Is that a genuine? Is that an aged one? Is that one of those custom shop suckers, or is that like a real like 1950s bin in a fire thing?
It's some of both.
Oh,
It's an old
okay.
guitar now, like
Yeah.
it's some 98, but
Okay.
all this dirt,
Yeah.
that's all. That's
That's real.
20
Joe.
some years of me.
That's Joe's skin.
Bedded into the lacquer. Incredible. You're kidding. Look at the state of that. Is it so?
Badass.
Is it so fingered? It's like actually like worn away into the fingerboard. Have you had it
It's
refreshed or
gross.
anything?
It's disgusting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got my blood in there somewhere.
Got your
doesn't it?
blood on it.
Well, that's true.
I
Yeah.
cut myself wide open on that thing.
Yeah, I bet you
at
did.
one
It
point.
looks like a can opener.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no frets. Clean your instruments, kids. That's what I'm saying. Get that Dunlop fret oil, lemon fret oil, gorgeous. Get that on there. Gentlemen, this has been such a special evening for us. Thank you, and morning for you. So thank you so
Yes.
much. Enjoy your lunches, and we will. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
on
thank you,
the
guys.
Mighty Emo Dad podcast.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
guys.
having us.
This was fun. Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Great interview. Thank you.
Yeah.
Been a pleasure. Take care.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.
Beautiful stuff. Joe's staying with
Joe will
us.
find it. He'll find it in a minute.
I gotta get off.
Oh, he's back. He's back for more.
Sorry, bye. All right, now I'm leaving.
Bottom corner.
Cheers, Joe.
Cheers, Joe.
Why can't I get off this?
You just
Bottom
have to
corner
stay with
is
us
the
all
big
night.
thing that says leave.
He's gone.
I've never had to kick a guest out.
Yeah. The big red cross. Oh,
They can stay. What an amazing bunch of lads.
yeah, I really enjoyed that. What excellent stories.
That was really good. That was really good.
I was very sad about the lunchbox and hair gel, though.
That didn't go down great, did it? I'm just gonna.
Did
we
you
got
add that to
click
their Wikipedia page?
Hive lunchbox. Let's have a look for that. Does that exist? I've got Click 5 cassette tapes. We've got a 5 Alive thermos. No, that's not it. These things are not on eBay. If you have Click 5 merchandise, and there'll be super fans, right? There'll have
Yeah.
been super fans that have made it this far. If you've got something Click 5y, I want it. Not like physically. Send me a picture. Send me something to prove this exists, because I know you'll have it. I know you'll have it. And I do want to just, if you are listening to this audio only and haven't watched whatever we put together and put on YouTube or anything, they're all of the very hirsute gentlemen. All that hair is still there, can confirm.
I was going to say, what does that mean? I didn't even know what that
It
meant.
means they've all got their barnets and they're all looking good, Nick, because they were sort of famous for having, like good hair.
Good haircuts.
If you were wondering about whether or not the Jonas 5, that's not a thing.
That's it sounds like a criminal organisation.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? They're coming to take your nuts off, the Jonas 5. No, the Jonas Brothers. Check out the cover of their 2007 record, and there is no doubt they were influenced by the Click 5. Absolutely no doubt, because they look like they should be in the band. It is the same vibes, the same style, smashing it.
That was cool about the Jonas Brothers story. Imagine that, getting a message like that. Can you be? It's not like, let's in fantasy world. Let's say it happened to us. We were in a band, and it would be like, can you get to London tonight? It'd be like, yes. However, we'd still think twice about it.
Yeah.
I live
No,
half
I
an hour
know.
away. So do you?
No, I know.
Imagine
And then,
in America, you had to fly to another city.
no, and I've just learned, I'm today years young, learning that you can turn up and over the counter book a private jet.
Oh, do you not do that already?
No, is that a thing?
I
You
don't
can
know.
just go like a taxi. You can just turn up and go, here is my credit card, take me to Washington.
I don't know about the turning up thing, but I do know that there are private jet companies that you can just call up and sort of book your private jet. You don't need to kind of own
Have
it, so to speak.
right. But like I assumed that would still
So
be
we could book one.
Right. But we need like I don't know, 20 grand,
Money.
right, or something, right? Yeah, money. Yeah. That's the barrier.
Some money.
That's the barrier to this whole escapade.
If you want to donate money towards
Right, we've
Matt and
got a tip
James
jar.
booking a private jet, where would we go? It would have to be somewhere quite local because we couldn't afford to go anywhere else.
Can you get us a private jet to go to Birmingham?
But to watch
You know how like
Bring Me the Horizon or something.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know how oh, I've lost it. I've lost my train of thought. I'm tired. It's tiring doing interviews. You people don't like. You don't know what it's like.
Oh, let me get my violin out for you.
Yeah, right. No, but it's like active listening is tiring
Yeah, it
when you
is.
have to listen to all of the words. It's exciting and it's thrilling, but it's not a relaxing experience.
Yeah, because
Um,
do you find yourself actually like sometimes you are listening and then you forget that you are kind of in or supposed to be in control, and it's almost
yes,
like you're just listening to a podcast and you're like, oh, it's a
correct.
really interesting story, and then then there's like a moment of silence and you think, oh shit, I'm meant to be driving this thing.
Right. Or you're just like, or I'm really interested in something they've said, but I want to just ask 7,000 questions about that thing, but I know that that's not what I'm here to do.
We don't have time for that.
That's not my job. And occasionally I'll throw in a follow-up and I'll be like, like what I asked him about like studio tours. And I was like, I want to ask more questions. I want to ask
I I
more
almost
questions.
brought up because obviously they're talking about being producers and being mixers and stuff like that. I almost brought our band up.
No, I know. No, I know. I was extremely tempted to say, so we've got a song.
Yeah. And I was like, just do not do
Don't,
it. Do not do
don't
it.
do it.
It's not
Don't do
worth
it. The
the
embarrass,
explaining.
the explaining and waiting for them to be like, interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I do
Anyway,
mixing for people. That's interesting.
hmm.
So, do you know anything about Garage Band?
Can you make something shit sound less shit?
Right. Is it possible to make to take something that isn't in tune or in time, right?
Make it sound good.
Make it good. All right, so that was you with that podcast. We need to do notices, I think, and then I think not. We've kind of done them all over the episode. Let's be honest. But
Yeah,
do we need to do like a proper finish somehow?
yeah. Um, okay.
Beautiful. That was the Emo Dad podcast. Another spine-chillingly brilliant interview delivered by myself, James, and the boss, Matt. I don't know where this has come from, but it's staying. Sign up to follow us on all major platforms in video and audio format. Our handle, as the kids call it, is Emo Dad Podcast on all of the things. All of the things. If you want to chat to us, Instagram's probably the way to go. You'll be chatting to Matt. If you want to specifically say something to me, write James in big letters, and then Matt will tell me. If it's abuse, fine, but don't abuse Matt. Right? It's happened before. It's happened before. We won't have that. No, be nice to Matt, especially around the subject of My Chemical Romance and selfies. Be nice to Matt. If you want to email us, like in the old school days, emodadpodcast@gmail.com is our dusty email account. If you are the only emo in the village, listening to music like this as you walk around your spooky local town, and you would like to meet like-minded individuals from the good old days, we have a Discord server where people talk to each other. Check out that link and go and do that. If you want to buy a t-shirt, we got them. They're nice. We know factually you can make friends and talk to people by having an Emo Dad t-shirt. They will be chatting. If you're like me and you never want to speak to another person ever, don't buy one. But if you aren't like me, buy a fucking t-shirt. You can buy a hat, because I wear my hat and nobody ever talks to me ever. So we know that works. Buy an Emo Dad
because
hat.
you're tall and they can't read what it says.
They can't read it. Yeah, good on. Trod on myself. There, this shit costs us money. Increasingly more and more money. Leave it. We got a tip jar. Leave us a tip. A cappuccino these days where I live is £3.80, so that'll do me nicely. What do you want, Matt?
£3.80?
Yeah, it's fucking bonkers.
do you ever want a cappuccino that much?
I'll be honest, it's got to the point, buying a coffee was one of my last vices. Enjoying that flute that just came in
I was about to turn it off. I thought, fuck it, I'll just leave it.
Yeah, the flute's great. Enjoying this. Now I can't. All I'm going to do is listen to the flute.
What would I? I need to pay back my my mic arm.
Yeah, Matt's just bought a mic arm, so give him some money for the mic arm that we can't see. So we've just got to trust him it exists. That's
Hang on.
Much like, oh, he does exist.
See?
Does exist.
See?
And see, it's a real thing. Now you say see, I can see it, you can't. But you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the thing. You watch Matt stand up. That's the sort of joy you can get from the visual content.
I'm doing the rest of the
Emo Dad
episode
podcast.
standing up.
Yeah, just like that. It's great. You can just see Matt's torso. If you're a big torso fan, listen
Oh, I
to the
disappeared.
middle of the Emo Dad podcast. He's now disappearing. This kind of content, if this is your first time, this is business as usual. This kind of absolute gems that we've got going on right now. That was the notices. The panpipes are playing. And we will be back next week with another edition of the mighty Emo Dad podcast. Toodaloo.
Thanks for listening. And this, because I realised we haven't played a single bar, is the Click 5. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.